Atheism is a non-profit organization.
Grab a jam, mess you with, and it's the down. It's my podcast. This guy's insane. Rock your brain. It's just a sound. It's the Viera Vault.
Hey, Ralph Viera here with a brand new Viera Vault. It's been a while, I know. But things are going to change drastically now. You expect a lot of new Viera Vaults. And this one, we have the best villain of podcasting, Michael Brandvold, from Three Sides of the Coin. He was kind enough to invite me on his show. I was on a recent show, and he kindly returned the favor, and he's here to reboot the Viera Vault. And he wanted me to ask the listeners to ask questions. So I did it on the Facebook page. Sorry, you YouTubers. Comments there disappear. So I know some people would have been pissed off if I didn't ask your questions because I didn't see it. So this is a very lengthy show. Before we get into the questions, we talk KISS a lot. And what KISS means to us and so on. And also, we go into the questions, and a lot of them, as you expect, a lot of people ask them fucked up questions. And believe it or not, there's quite a few questions that are actually nice toward them. Very odd. But it's very long. Let's just get into it, and I'll meet you at the end of the show. Let's do this. Hey, welcome to the Viera Vault, or this week it's Two Sides of the Coin. I have with me on this episode a villain, and this guy is not only, this guy's like known as the villain of all podcasts, the best villain, but it wasn't something that he tagged on himself. It was somebody else that said it, and he loved it, so he took it. He's not a self-proclaimed villain. He is the villain to many people, and we will get more into that. But he wants you all to ask him questions. I got a bunch of questions here. Welcome, Mr. Michael Brandvold from Three Sides of the Coin. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Ralph. How you doing? Or is it Dr. Fuck? How do you want to be referred to?
Here,
Doctor?
You can call me Ralph on this one, because this is the one I want to get popular. Dr. Fuck, I don't know how the hell I got so many subscribers at Dr. Fuck, but it happened. No, but you can call me Dr. Fuck. It don't matter.
I'm just glad to see you finally realizing you needed me to come on your show for the ratings.
Well, I see how good I did for you, so I figured, let's see if you can do the same for me. By the way, according to some people, I'm very afraid of you.
Really? Are you? What afraid of what?
I don't know. They said that I was very scared on Three Sides. Did you get that feeling from me?
Fuck no. It felt like a conversation in a bar. It really
exactly. They just thought. See, here's the thing, Michael. There's a lot of my listeners, as you know, that despise you.
Sure.
So they think that.
And thank you very much for despising me.
Yeah, there you go. And you'll see more despising when I got these questions for you. But the thing is that people, they see my attitude and my opinion that's so different than yours that they figure I feel the same way toward you as they do. But I explained it on your show already. If you want to see my appearance on Three Sides of the Coin, I explained it. I said, look, man, I do identify with their opinions, but as far as like getting upset with somebody that have a different opinion, I've never expressed it. I mean, you've never seen me say anything on any of my, slamming you guys. I mean, I've mentioned you guys. The only way I mentioned you guys was talking about, why do you guys listen if you don't like it?
They want us to hate each other is what it comes down to. That's the only thing they can wrap their heads around, and it's so crazy because I keep going back to this analogy, but it's just like wrestling, people. I don't know about you, Ralph, but I grew up a big wrestling fan in the 70s and the 80s.
Right, me too.
And back then you still thought it was real. That they hated each other, that they were bad and they were good. It wasn't until, the WWF really came along that you realized, those wrestlers, they're all best friends. They're just acting in the ring like they hate each other, when the bell rings and they go backstage, they're leaving to go have a beer together. We're the same freaking way, people.
Yeah.
We put on a show to get you all riled up. But at the end of the day, we got the same taste in music. We love a lot of the same bands. We laugh at the fans the same way. You guys, and I would say this on your YouTube channel, I'm like, you're being played. We are playing you. And they just like, no, fuck you. I'm like, no, yeah, you're getting played.
That was part of my next question. Do you find it frustrating? Because I've, like I told you, I binge watched your show before I went on there. I've heard you say several times what you're doing. Does it frustrate you all the times that people, it either goes in one ear or out the other ear, or they say you're lying? Does it frustrate you after a while?
It doesn't frustrate us at all. And me personally, but I think I can speak for everybody else on the show. It doesn't frustrate us one bit. We truly, and I'm not saying this, people, to just poke at you, we truly laugh our asses off at this shit. Right. We just sit back and go, my God, last episode we blatantly told you this is what we're going to do and this is why we're doing it. And here's a comment where somebody's like not believing it. It's like, how can you do nothing but laugh? You just got to laugh at people who continue to insist they know me better than I know myself. It's like, really? We've never met. We've never talked. Maybe we've chatted in a thread somewhere before you ended up calling me an asshole and, die Brandvold or whatever it is. You don't know anything about me. And I'm telling you right now, in full honesty, I'm doing this to play, to have fun, to rile you up, to poke the goats. I'm poking a hornet's nest here. It's like you're getting played, and I think part of it is they don't want to admit that they got played.
Well, you know what? I got to admit, as you know, I fell for it too, because when I saw the title of Eric Carr's Just a Drummer, I didn't bother to listen to that show to listen to the context. So therefore, I stopped listening to you. So yeah. I guess I'm guilty too. But another thing I want to say is everything you just said now. You sure you're not going to get frustrated because it just went in and out of everybody's ear? And
they're like, he's lying, Ralph, he's lying to you. I know what he's really like. It's like, please.
And another thing, like I said, I say it all the time. Hey, man, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So if anybody out there wants to continue hating on Michael, go right ahead. I'm cool with that.
We're cool with that. Honest to God, and I think people think we're doing it to joke, but we always say we love the listeners that love us, and we love the listeners who hate us. Right. We're serious. We absolutely love everybody who hates us with a passion. We love everybody who jumps on your videos or some Facebook group and starts trashing us. Thank you for doing that. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for doing that, because you're taking time out of your day to talk about us.
And yeah, the talking about you is the main goal there, because it gets your name out there.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there wants to do, a challenge against any of us, you're getting our name out there. So, I'm all for it. You can talk bad about me, about my band, as long as you mention us. That's all that matters to me.
Exactly. Love me or hate me, get out of the middle. Love me or hate me, just spell my name right. All these quotes that, hey, they've come from Kiss. This was all ingrained in me by Gene and Paul for decades here. This is how Kiss survived and lived and operated. It's like, we don't give a crap if you want to come out and protest. I remember the Creatures of the Night tour. They had all those religious protesters all around the country. Mm-hmm. They actually, in Minneapolis, where I saw the Creatures of the Night tour, they gave the preachers access to come in and film the show and record their commentary at the show and interview the band. Because all they're going to do is go out and talk more about Kiss.
Exactly. Promote it, And, the forbidden fruit always tastes sweeter. So, for the young people going, ooh, satanic, ooh, let me look into this. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, and it works.
It is. And again, I tell people, and I the last few weeks where I've been poking your hornet's nest on your YouTube videos, going at it with some of your comments, right. the people that leaving comments. I'm like, guys, you don't understand. They're like, you keep coming back, Brandvold. You keep saying something. I'm like, yeah, because you can't stop talking. Yeah. I go, if you want to do more damage, stop talking about me. Stop talking about three sides. But I can tell you this. You can't do it.
And as I alluded on the Read Between the Lines video where I didn't mention you guys, I did say that. I go, I know you all trying to piss them off. You really want to piss them off? Ignore them.
Yeah.
Ignore them. And because you're loving this shit.
It's again, they leave a comment. All I got to do is come back and say, see, you couldn't stop talking about me. And that pisses them off even more.
Yeah. and continue doing. I mean, look, and I know what I do is kind of like the opposite opinion of you, but it's weird, Michael. I really don't do it to, I'm going to do this to piss people off. I don't even have to think that. All I got to talk about, look, I don't like this aspect, that aspect, and that pisses them off, period.
But that's the same with us, because even though I will sit here and tell you we do all of this to play people and poke the hornet's nest, every opinion that we say in our show, which let me be very clear up front right now, Three Sides of the Coin is a opinion. It's a commentary show. We're not here talking about facts. We're not talking about fair and balanced coverage. It's three of us, four of us sometimes, giving our opinion. And those opinions are 100% real and honest. So when I say I absolutely love Crazy Nights, I'm not saying that just to get people riled up, because it does. I actually love it. I love the album. When I say that I don't listen to Alive 3, it's because I don't. Or not Alive 3, Alive, the first Live album. It's because, I came into Kiss with Rock and Roll Over. So Kiss Alive was before my introduction. So it had no deep impact on me. Kiss Alive 2 is the album that made me go, holy shit, listen to this band. I will listen to Kiss Alive 2 every single day. I might listen to Kiss Alive maybe once a year. It does nothing for me. That doesn't mean, and listen, I come right out and I say, listen, I totally give that album every respect it deserves, because it has a critical point. It's critical to Kiss's evolution, its history, its influence, and everything. That album is so freaking important. I'm not taking it away. I'm just telling you that it wasn't in my. People love to joke about us when we say this. The timeline means everything, and I discovered Kiss in 1976.
Before me.
So I discovered Rock and Roll Over. I think I then went into maybe Finding Destroyer, and then Alive 2. I didn't have the first four albums for a while. Again, you're a kid. You've only got so much money. I can't go out and buy the entire catalog at once. So I'm buying the newer stuff at the time I'm discovering the band. And then as you get a little more lawn mowing money and all that other shit, you go back and buy other albums. Those albums didn't have an impact on me. They did on somebody like Mark or Tommy, because they grew up when those albums came out.
Right. In my situation, Michael, I came in later than you, around the double platinum era. But the reason that timeline doesn't necessarily jive with me when it comes to Kiss Alive, and this is understandable, I bought that before Alive 2.
But you know, it's the timeline of how you acquired and heard the album,
right?
That is important to you. You came into Alive 1 before Alive 2.
Yes, that's
I
true.
came into Alive 2 first, and you know, I think not many people will dispute the fact that when Alive 2 came out, that was pretty much super Kiss at their peak.
Yes.
They were as big as you could ever get when Kiss Alive 2 dropped. And when I, you know, after listening to Rock and Roll Over and seeing the Paul Lynde Halloween special and then hearing Kiss Alive 2, it's like, holy mother of God, this band is a monster. Listen to God of Thunder. Listen to, you know, I Want You and you know, I Stole Your Love and all these. It's just like, fuck, this is incredible. I'm not a fan of side 4 of Alive 2.
Yeah, that's kind of mind blowing, but at the same time, you know, I mean, it doesn't upset me. It kind of like perplexes me a little bit. But like I, you know, my favorite Kiss album is Kiss Alive. My least favorite is Crazy Nights. Do I give a fuck that you think the opposite? Well, you know, I mean, I know you don't think Kiss Alive's their worst, but I'm just saying, you know, Crazy Nights your favorite, and Kiss Alive 1 doesn't do as much to you except for historic facts. But I don't care, dude. That's you. You know,
well, that's the whole point. That's what baffles us all the time. Is like, why does anybody care what somebody else likes or dislikes?
I could pretend that it does bother me, but you got to start paying my rent. You know,
exactly. I mean,
if you do that, I'll pretend it bothers me.
Everybody, music is 100% personal.
Yes.
There is nobody can sit here and tell you, and I'm not talking Kiss, I'm talking all music, that this is the better music and this is the worst music. You can't tell that. It's all 100% personal. I actually just this, I don't know when you're going to air this, but on the Three Sides of the Coin radio show, the latest episode, I played music from my favorite Kiss albums. And my favorite Kiss albums actually span the entire history of Kiss. Rock and Roll Over.
That would be your favorite, right? From the
number
70s?
One. No question.
Number one.
Rock and Roll Over is number one. Now, everything after that can change in order based on how I'm feeling and what excites me. But after Rock and Roll Over, Destroyer, Crazy Nights, Kiss Alive 2, Revenge, and then Creatures of the Night, Look It Up. But, you know, if you notice, I don't get anywhere into the first 4 albums.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And I'm not saying that those songs suck, because I love Kiss Alive 3, actually. I'm a big fan of that. I love those original songs on Kiss Alive 3. It's just, again, those 4 albums didn't have a moment in my upbringing as a Kiss fan. You know, we've all, every Kiss fan has that moment where you hear something, see something, and it imprints on you forever.
Yeah.
And those first 4 albums were never in a position to make an imprint on me as a Kiss fan.
Right. Well, you know, the thing is that, again, you know, I mean, you and I very much differ in a lot of things, but, you know, there's a lot of things that we are I mean, as far, like, my favorite is Kiss Alive, but if you want to talk about studio albums, yeah, definitely, hands down, Rock and Roll Over is my favorite.
Oh, Rock and Roll Over is like that. To me, that was, everything about Kiss was perfect at that moment. It was well produced. It was a big sound. It had everything going, and they were hard and they were heavy. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, I will also admit, Rock and Roll Over was the very first Kiss album I got, was the very first Kiss album I ever dropped the needle on. So that will always leave an impression in whoever it is. I mean, we hear from a lot of fans who's like, you know, my first album was Kiss Unmasked, and, you know, I think it's the best thing in the world. It's like, great, it doesn't work for me, but if that's what did it for you, awesome. That's
good.
great.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you. And also a little thing that should be noted: we have to be very grateful that Destroyer didn't blow up right away, because Rock and Roll Over was kind of like, oh man, we need to get back in the studio and do something heavy, before Beth blew up. So what if Destroyer blew up right away? Would have there been a Rock and Roll Over?
That's the interesting thing of people going back and going, oh, what if they didn't do The Elder? What if they didn't do Unmasked? Well, it's like, if they didn't do those, we may not have ended up with Creatures of the Night.
Right.
So are you willing to give up Creatures of the Night in order to have The Elder and Unmasked maybe be a better album? No, because everything Kiss did beforehand influenced what they are doing at that moment. So be thankful. If you hate Crazy Nights, be thankful that they did it, because it got them to do Revenge.
Right. Which I don't like, by the way.
Really?
Well, I mean, I said on your show, I like it musically. I just feel like it didn't connect to me. I enjoyed Monster more, believe it or not, which is not cool because I am the anti-scab guy. But, for somebody to say, oh, man, like my favorite was a guy that said, man, you like Monster, you're a poser. I was like, I think if I was to say I don't like Monster and secretly like it, would make me the poser.
Yeah, exactly. That I totally respect people who are confident in their own likes and dislikes and beliefs, that they won't give in to peer pressure to say what they're supposed to say. I mean, listen, if I was giving into the peer pressure of the Kiss Army, I'd be on this podcast every day going, Kiss Alive is the best album in the world. Crazy Night sucks. 80s Kiss blows. I'm not. I love all Kiss, but I'm a big fan of the 80s because that's really when things exploded for me.
But somehow Rock and Roll Over is so kick-ass, you'll put that over the 80s.
Oh, without question, I will do that. I will, because let's put it this way. Everything that came out in the 80s was essentially a Paul Stanley solo album with the Kiss logo on it.
Yes, I agree.
Nothing wrong with that, because Paul's 78 solo album is phenomenal. But as a Kiss album, as a group, Rock and Roll Over is it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and as much as I love those first three, too, because to me, a close second would be Dress to Kill. But there's just something magical. And it is the song, I Want You is the song that got me into Kiss. So it's very special. It's just a very special album.
That song is always special to me because, again, I every time I hear I Want You, I'm immediately flashing back to dropping the needle. My parents' big-ass 70s record console player, that every parent had these big-ass consoles.
My parents did, too. It was a furniture, right?
Yeah, it was furniture, basically.
Yeah.
It was an 8-track player, and it had a turntable in it.
Yep.
And I remember, I can picture it in my head, taking my right hand, picking that needle up, dragging it over. I had not heard the album yet. I had not heard I Want You. And I dropped it, and I heard I Want You, and it was just like, oh, my God. The gates have opened. It was just phenomenal. I'm taken back to the sound, the smell of that console player every time Rock and Roll Over is played.
So, all you people that hate Brandvold and love I Want You, listen to what he just said.
But here's the thing. If you want to have that same statement and you want to make it about, hey, Dynasty came out 40 years ago yesterday.
Yes.
If you want to make that statement about Dynasty, I can't fault you for that. I can tell you that it doesn't have that impact on me, but God bless you because you've got an album that made that sort of an impact on you and that you love it so much. I respect that.
And it did to me, Michael. Dynasty was the first Kiss album I bought that was a new Kiss album, Double Platinum technically was, but that's a greatest hits.
Right.
But the first official studio album that was brand new that came out from Kiss was Dynasty. And I bought that, and I'll admit, I wasn't a fan of I Was Made for Loving You, but that was me being young and dumb and kind of a little peer pressure because I even had a shirt that had a disco ball exploding with a skull that said Death Before Disco. So I wasn't allowed to like disco, you know? So I always would start with 2000 Man. But now that I got older and I'm a big fan of ABBA and I love the Bee Gees and all that, I appreciate that song a lot, you know? So,
Dynasty is where I think I became obsessed with Kiss. That's where I went. We've told the story on Three Sides many times where I went to the in-store they did in Bloomington, Minnesota, and I stood in line for 4 hours with 3,000 other kids to meet the band. I became head over heels obsessed with Kiss around 79. And at that point, it became... all I cared about was the band. It's a new Kiss album. I fucking gotta have it. Unmasked comes out. I just gotta have it. You know, it didn't matter. I loved the band so much. Yes, I might not have loved the album as much as previous albums. Didn't matter. It was Kiss. It was Kiss that was releasing the new album. And, that's when it really took off for me was 79.
Right. You see, the 79 was a ending point. I can't explain it to you why, but I never heard Unmasked till 83. And I just can't tell you why I got so enamored in other bands. I still loved the Kiss albums I owned, but they were taking a backseat till I heard Creatures of the Night. Then I went back and bought Unmasked. I bought The Elder on cassette in 85 for $1. And I took a bus to this place, took an hour and a half. I said, fuck it, I had a Walkman. And the very first time I heard The Elder was a very different experience than everybody else. Because the first time I heard The Elder, I was like, I fucking love this album. It's so weird. You know, it's like not Kiss, but it's weird and I like it, you know. And I'm pretty much obsessed with The Elder. The only one I can do without is Odyssey. But the rest of that album, I just fucking love. I don't know why.
I remember buying The Elder when it came out. I remember running home, and I had my own record player at that point in time, going up into my room and put my headphones on and playing it. And I loved it. And I still think it gets a lot of crap because of how people perceive it. But I've made this comment on Three Sides once or twice. What if the Elder music was exactly as it was, but the band looked like Creatures of the Night? Yeah. And it was the Creatures of the Night cover or something like that. I think it would have been received very differently if it had the image of Kiss as a heavy metal band associated to it. I mean, you got to remember, you opened up The Elder, and I even remember I was just like, this is awesome. This sounds great. Where's the band?
Yeah.
Where are these guys? What do they look like? What's going on? And I do remember when I finally saw their photos, like in Super Teen or 16 magazine, I was literally obsessed with looking at it like, oh my God, they're wearing shoes like a normal human being. That just blew my mind. It's like, I can't stop looking at these guys. They're wearing shoes and boots like a normal person. Cutting the hair didn't really bother me that much.
It did bother a lot of people, though.
Oh, it sure did. Definitely it did. But, I always wonder if the Elder image was the Creatures of the Night image, how differently would that album have been?
I think it would have been very different because I blame really The Elder, as much as I love The Elder, for the lack of sales of Creatures, because I think by then, the damage was done.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. The downward spiral started with Dynasty. And I'm not saying Dynasty sucks. I'm just saying that's when they started to change their direction from basically Love Gun to Dynasty. That's a big change. And Unmasked, it went down even further. And The Elder took it straight to the basement. And by that time, and I'm only talking about here in the U.S., people. In the U.S., everybody except a few diehard fans had thrown the towel in on Kiss. A lot of Kiss fans had even thrown the towel in, but it was a few diehards that still stuck with them, where we were just like, I'm too committed to this band. I can't give up. I got to give it one more shot. I always joke. It's like every time Kiss says they're going to do a new album, part of me has that little spark of hope that it's going to be a Rock and Roll Over, or it's just going to be a Creatures of the Night. It's going to be a phenomenal album. That little bit of hope of another album always kept the flame alive for me.
I had the same impact once I went back on board on Creatures, because there hasn't been a Kiss album I haven't bought since. I mean, because by the time I got Creatures is when I became totally infatuated with music, where Kiss fell in that category of I need to own everything they release. So I did buy Crazy Nights. I bought Asylum, Animalize, Lick It Up, Hot in the Shade, everything when it first came out. And I wasn't happy with all of them, but I was like you. I'd say, hey man, it's Kiss, so maybe this one's gonna work, you know?
Yeah, maybe there's something good in here. Maybe there's a good song, you know. And I made the comment on the radio show. It's like Asylum is one of the most underrated Kiss albums.
I agree. I said it on your show.
Just listen to the music. Don't look at the cover. Don't look at the stage costumes. Just listen to the music. That album is freaking great. It's a heavy album. It's got a lot of 70s feel to it.
Yeah.
But people judge it by the cover.
You listen to the beginning of Secretly Cruel, that's a rock and roll riff. I mean, Rock and Roll Over riff.
King of the Mountain, holy shit.
Oh, yeah, King of the Mountain. I love Any Way You Slice It. I love The Deadly Weapon. I love that album. I really do. I said that on your show. And it was like I was saying, you know, I love Lick It Up. When I bought Animalize, a couple good tracks, but I was kind of disappointed. Asylum, I got back on board. Crazy Nights, Hot in the Shade, Revenge came out. All right, I saw Unholy. I was going to buy it anyway. Carnival, Cycle, name it. I bought it. I have every single Kiss album. You know, I don't have the originals because I already own the first 3 albums, you know, but I don't go that far. You know, if I already own it, that's it. I'm done, you know. But I'll take the originals. Anybody out there wants to give it to me.
There you go.
You know, because people do like give me stuff out there, and I really do appreciate that. So, Michael, you ready to get in the seat, the hot seat?
Yeah, light this torch. Let's see what you can do here.
All right, first one. Oh man, I'm not that prepared. I do have all your questions, but there are a couple people, Michael, that don't want their names, so I put them. All right, I found it.
Chicken shit.
Well, at least they asked. One's a girl, one's a guy, and first one is from Mrs. X. It says, Mr. Ralph, sir, please ask him what gives him the superiority complex he has, and what makes him think that no one else's opinion is right except his. Does his mother not hug him enough? Man, that's cold, Mike.
Wow.
She fucking owned you there.
So my answer is, you're completely wrong in all of that. I'm not superior to anybody else. I vehemently believe in my likes and dislikes and what I think is good. I'm not saying you've got to think it's good. I'm not insisting anybody has to think Crazy Nights is a phenomenal album. I have no problem if somebody doesn't like it. Where I have the problem is when somebody then turns around and says, Brandvold, you have no taste in music if you like Crazy Nights. What? You can't say that. You can't. That carries no weight. You can tell me you dislike Crazy Nights for A, B, C, D, all the reasons you want. That's fine. It's 100% your opinion. To tell me my opinion of an album or a band member or an era or a tour, you name it, is wrong and I'm not a fan because I think that's where I draw the line. And then when people start attacking me because I continue to sit here and go, but I got no problem. I love Crazy Nights. Well, keep attacking me. But you're not going to change my mind. That's a question I would love to throw out to the listeners who have issues with me. What are you hoping to achieve when you have these conversations? Are you trying to change my mind and make me think differently? You know, are you trying to make me admit I've been wrong for 35 years? Crazy Nights does suck. Is that what they want?
Yeah, be nice, Michael. Go and break that album on film and show it to them and say that they're right.
That's what I get. And honestly, I've asked that to a couple people and they can never answer it. It's like, what are you hoping to achieve? When you tell me that Kiss that tours today sucks and that I'm wrong, what are you hoping to achieve? Do you want me to, quote, come over to the dark side? I don't know. I mean,
yeah, join us, man. It's fun.
Again, that's what we laugh at that shit. I'm just like, dude, I'm not superior to anybody. I mean, frankly, my Kiss knowledge pales in comparison to most fans. Pales. I just love the band, and I know what I love. And I think it pisses people off that I'm so confident in what I love. Right. That I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to raise my hand and go, I love the Crazy Nights album. You know, I'll say the Crazy Nights album is great, but I will also admit the Crazy Nights tour blew. It sucked. It was a terrible tour. It was a terrible set list. The band didn't give a shit. But I love the album. Sorry. Hey, I also happen to think Judas Priest Turbo is their best album. Kill me.
Holy crap.
Kill me.
Wow. I don't get offended. I laugh, but I don't laugh at your taste. It's just funny. You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
And here's the thing. People laughing doesn't bother me.
No, and I'm not.
I get it. That's fine. A lot of people will laugh at that. When you come back and say, you frickin' suck and you don't know good music, and let me tell you, this is why this is better. Dude, you can give me all the reasons in the world. It's not going to change the fact that I love these albums.
You like Bang Bang You?
I like the whole album. I will say this about Crazy Nights. I felt like that's when Gene finally started to write better again and definitely sing better. He sounded better on all of Crazy Nights.
Oh, okay. You know, and what we were talking about musical taste, I've said this before, and it did offend a couple people when I said this. I said, when people say you have excellent taste in music, they're only saying that because you agree with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if somebody is not a Frank Zappa fan, and somebody says, I love Frank Zappa, and the guy that doesn't like Frank Zappa is not going to tell the guy, you have excellent taste in music because I hate Frank Zappa. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think the correct terminology would be, we have similar taste in music.
We have similar taste in music, or I respect your tastes in music. Right. Well, and that's what it comes down to. Honestly, I respect everybody's taste in music. I think Carnival of Souls is the biggest piece of shit Kiss album. It should not have a Kiss logo on it. But there's a lot of Kiss fans who love that album. It's great. I respect that. If you love it, I'm not acting superior to anybody. I'm just saying I don't like it. I thought it was terrible. If you love it for whatever reason, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've gone on record to say, man, there's songs on there like Masters and Slaves, Never Goes Away. I love it. But then there's songs on there that's like, man, it could have been so much better if they put a little more work into it, but Gene and Paul were too busy with the reunion.
Well, you know, my big thing with Carnival of Souls is, first of all, you can argue this till you're blue in the face, but to me, it's an attempt to be a grunge album. And anybody who was around during the 80s into the 90s knows all these bands tried to become grunge bands.
Right.
Everybody tried to do grunge one way or another. And that was Kiss trying to ride the trend. Listen, Kiss is all about trends. Crazy Nights was riding a trend. Dynasty was riding a trend. They're all about following the Elder trends. So Carnival of Souls, in my mind, was just Kiss trying to jump on a trend to save their career. And what really bothered me is, again, being a fan from 1976 on, Kiss has always been a happy, good time, party, fists in the air, smiling, cheering type of band.
Right.
Carnival of Souls is none of that. It's like, wait a second, you guys just spent 20 years being a happy, we love the world, doing it my way, blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden you're doing an album that's full of lyrics that are, and it might be very well written, but it's grunge, it's depressing, that's not Kiss.
Yeah, Rain, Never Go Away. It's very depressing lyrics. I agree. And by the way, Mrs. X, that was a two-part question. The second question was, Michael, did your mom hug you enough?
I get plenty of hugs.
Oh, okay, there you go. I heard your mom's a big fan of Crazy Nights too.
Listen, my mom is the reason I'm a Kiss fan.
Really?
She joined the RCA record club back in the 70s, went to my sister and I and said, you guys can each pick one album. And I'm like, okay. I'm kind of discovering music at that point in time, so I didn't know what I liked. I remembered my best friend from across the street mentioning this band Kiss, which he had said was cool. I'm like, okay, I want a Kiss album. Which one? I don't know. The Rock and Roll Overcover looks cool. That's the album I want. So she got me my first album. And I'll tell you, I thanked her. I've taken her to see Kiss in concert 2 or 3 times. She's met the band. She's gotten pictures with the band. So
does she like them? Did she like them?
Yeah, she loves Kiss. She loves Gene. She, on the farewell tour, when they played in Minneapolis, and I came back for the show and I got them tickets for it and everything, she made a plate of chocolate chip cookies for me to give to Gene.
That'll do it.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, next question's from Mr. X. He says, I got nothing to ask him if he will make a shirt that says no Tommy, no Eric, no problem, with a pic of Kiss in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Keep me anonymous, please. And when he says no, I'm sorry, this is how he wrote it. When he says no, ask him why he thinks this lineup is better than the original lineup and why he thinks the people who created nothing should be in the Hall of Fame. So did you go on record on your show saying that Thayer and Singer should be in the Hall of Fame?
I don't remember, shit. First of all, let me be very clear. I don't give a shit about the Hall of Fame.
I didn't want them in there in the first place.
It means I laugh at all these fans who get so worked up about the way the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame treated and has treated Kiss. It's like, do you guys understand the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not legitimate in the slightest? It's a freaking business organization that picks the people they like to go in. Why do you care? I didn't give a. Here's what I love that Kiss finally went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because now we can stop listening to fans bitching about them not being in the Hall of Fame. That's right. It. That's it. Being in the Hall of Fame means absolutely nothing, because the way the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducts other bands that have 20 other new members in them and lets them all join, whether it's the Grateful Dead or Bruce Springsteen or whoever, but they don't let Kiss do the same thing. It's like, oh, come on, that's being a hypocrite. That's what's wrong about it. If they forced every band to only admit the original members, great, I get it. But that's not the way they play their game. They let everybody from other bands join. So why didn't they let Bruce Kulick? Why didn't they let Eric Carr? Come on. You might want to have the argument about Eric Singer or Tommy Thayer, but I don't think you can deny that Eric Carr and Bruce Kulick had a significant role in Kiss.
Yeah, they were platinum albums.
Yeah. So why couldn't they be inducted?
Right. Yeah.
Why?
Well, yeah, because and plus, it was their biggest nightmare. Let's face it, they never wanted them in there, but I think it's because now they have different people voting that got them in there. If it wasn't for that, look, I remember when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was brand new, MTV had a report about it. I'll never forget. What's the guy's name that runs Rolling Stone? Jan Winter or something?
Yeah.
He said the reason why we only induct bands that been around for over 25 years, because if we were induct bands now, we'd induct a band like Journey, which is funny to think that Journey now is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
But back then they already knew. We don't want bands that are just popular now. But that's a lie, because they induct like Chic and shit like that hasn't been popular since the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into the whole discussion of, listen, they induct rap artists into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Does that make sense?
No, it don't. Or Madonna. But here's my thing. I mean, yeah, I'll admit I was a little upset in the beginning, but now it's gotten to the point where I'm upset with the people bitching about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop. Kind of like what I said about Three Sides. Like, dude, if you don't like it, stop. Just ignore it.
Stop talking about the Hall of Fame. Who gives a crap? We could create the Three Sides of the Coin Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it'll have just as much meaning as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of people getting together going, let me pick my favorites. And then when they finally run out of their favorites, they're forced to induct people that aren't their favorites.
Exactly. And, and it's always been like, a niche. It was always been like the elitist. Rolling Stone magazine was never a fan of Kiss or metal in the first place. They've never given a favorable review to Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin in the 70s. Now they lather their ass like there's no tomorrow. You know, because the public spoke. Yep. And now they see the influence these two bands on all these bands. Now they pretend that, oh yeah, we've always loved Zeppelin. No, go back and read. The first Van Halen album, the review said that David Lee Roth was an Ian Gillan ripoff. It's like, I don't think these guys know what they're talking about, but whatever. Now in retrospect, it's like, dude, these guys are kind of like the enemy, and you shouldn't even give a fuck. Same thing with the Grammys. I see that when the Grammys are on, I see people like bitching on Facebook watching the Grammys, going, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. I'm like, why the fuck are you watching it? This is a place that gave Jethro Tull a metal award.
There you go. You don't have to say any more. Jethro Tull beat Metallica. Really?
And AC/DC,
So please, people, it means nothing. Why are you getting all worked up about it?
You want to do something about it? Go buy their albums.
Go buy their albums. Go buy their concert tickets. That's what matters.
Yep, that's more important than them winning some silly award, And you got to also remember the every time, I'd say 9 times out of 10, the best new artists of the Grammys disappear. If you're going to judge a new artist, man, they better have staying power. But they, and remember Milli Vanilli. I mean, what else more can I say? The whole lip syncing controversy. I mean, they're clueless.
It's all industry backroom politics.
Yep,
that's it. And why you want to get all upset about it and then get upset with me about what I'm saying? Dude, I don't give a crap about the Hall of Fame. I really don't. Thank you. They're in. We can stop talking about it.
Exactly. All right, now I'll get into the questions of people that don't give a fuck if you know what they're saying. All right? And this guy's name is Owen, and he says, what does he think is the best Beatles... Oh, this one... Not all of them are bad, Michael. What does he think of the best Beatles solo album? Which Beatle has his favorite solo career? I'd love for you both to answer this question. I think I did answer him, though. Let me see. Okay, well, I'll answer it. My favorite solo album would be Band on the Run. Paul McCartney's my favorite of the solo career. And you take it away. What do you think is the best solo album, and who had your favorite career?
So the Beatles had no impact on me as a music fan. I know of them. I've heard of them, and you hear them on the radio all the time. But they had no impact on me becoming a fan of anything. So Paul McCartney was the Beatle that was most active in my mind during the 70s. So I would have to say Paul McCartney. Band on the Run, definitely. But I'm not a huge Beatle fan. I'm not a huge Paul McCartney fan. I'm not a huge John Lennon fan. I like Kiss Alive. I give them all the respect in the world for their place in music history and what they've accomplished, and that they are extremely talented. They just had no impact on me as a music fan.
So, Beatles didn't do much for you. You love Crazy Nights. God damn, you're a villain.
My music tastes suck, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't match with mine, so you have bad music taste.
I will tell you this. I think I own one Beatles album, and it's Beatles 1.
I don't even know. Oh, the
greatest hits.
Yeah, the number one songs. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, here's another question that's not bad, Michael. Hate to disappoint you. This one comes from James Schwartz. He says, how did you get your start in marketing?
I went to college, and that was my major in college, was marketing. So that's how I got started in marketing. And then out of college, when I graduated in 1987, I got a job doing promotion for a management/production company in Chicago that had 2 or 3 unsigned bands. And they hired me to come in and market them and promote them. And quick side story, this was in 1989, Hot in the Shade era, and Gene Simmons had Simmons Records. I submitted one of our bands, the Ultraviolet, to Gene. Gene called to offer the Ultraviolet a record deal, gave me all sorts of deal points, talked to lawyers, everything else, and then invited me and the band to come out and meet him when Kiss was playing in Chicago for the Hot in the Shade tour. And it was very cool. I mean, I was just, my mind was blown. It's like I started dealing with Gene. Unfortunately, right then, Simmons Records goes out of business. The deal never happens. The album never gets recorded. But I can say that I had a band that was offered a record deal by Gene Simmons.
Awesome. And did this contribute to you actually working with Kiss later on with the Kiss website?
Well, here's what I think a lot of Kiss fans, as you're growing up as a kid, you dream about working with Kiss.
Right.
In some form. I want to be a roadie. I want to be in the band. I want to do whatever. I always had a dream I was going to work with Kiss. And I remember when I graduated college in 87, I actually sent Chris Lent, who was working with Glickman Marks and managing Kiss at the time. I sent Chris Lent my resume and said, I want a job. And I've got the letter. It was a short form letter. We've got nothing right now, but thank you very much. We'll keep your resume on file type of thing. But it was just one of those things where it's like, I'm going to work with Kiss at some point in my life. I'm going to do this. I want to work with Kiss. And fast forward to 1998, and it eventually happened.
Oh, cool. All right. This next one is a juicy one, Michael. I think you'll like this one. And I need for you to answer what the hell this is about. This is from a guy called Ben. He said, could you still smell Tommy's cock when he was giving Stanley a rim job? Is that true?
Can I what?
Can you still smell Tommy's cock when he was giving Stanley a rim job?
I don't even know how to respond to a question like that. That goes into the category of, that's the question you want to ask. Okay.
Well, then I'll have a follow-up personally. You've never been close enough to Tommy's cock to smell it?
Tommy Summers?
I don't know which one, Tommy Summers or so I guess the answer is no, because you don't know if it's Tommy Summers or Tommy Thayer.
Oh, God.
All right, okay. So the answer to that one is I've never been close enough to his cock to smell it.
There you go.
Okay. All right, we'll go to the next guy. His name
I've
is...
never seen it. I've never been close to it. I've never touched it. I have no interest in it.
Yeah, okay. All right, the next one is from Leopold. He says, does he like the album the current lineup has released, which I guess he's talking about Kiss, like Sonic Boom and Monster. You like those albums?
Honestly, they don't do much for me. Back up. There's between those two albums, there's one song that I think is a phenomenal Kiss song. Right Here, Right Now.
Oh, that's a bonus track.
A bonus track on iTunes. That song is brilliant. I love that. I can listen to that song over and over. The Monster and Sonic Boom, yeah, they didn't connect with me. They did nothing for me. I'm not going to sit here and say they suck. I don't listen to them. You know, they kind of land in the area of Hot in the Shade for me. It's like, okay, it's a Kiss album. I bought it. Great. I'm glad they're still recording. Some fans love it. It did nothing for me.
Wow. With that opinion, did they like knock some money off that check that they send you?
Exactly.
Okay, Leopold has another question for you, and this is something I did not know, and I didn't even see this question before. Well, I found out today talking to you. Why is he not working with Accept anymore? I didn't even know you were working with Accept.
Listen, most bands, you don't work with a band forever.
Right.
You usually work with a band for a cycle, meaning an album release or a tour or something along those lines. So it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. It's very rarely are you ever going to find somebody who works with somebody forever. So I worked for Accept on the last 2 studio albums they did, The Rise of Chaos and Blind Rage. Helped set those up, get them promoted, ran things for basically 3 or 4 months, did some tour promotion with them. They haven't had a new studio album. They've had a live album, but, I don't know if the live album really set the world on fire.
Right. Okay, this one's from Freddie.
But I will say this. I love Accept.
Hell yeah, great fucking band. I love Mark, their new singer. I'm a big fan of T.T. Quick.
And listen, I was a big fan of him back when he was in a band called T.T. Quick.
Yeah, I love that band. Medal of Honor is awesome.
Yeah, that album, I still listen to Medal of Honor. That album, solid hard rock metal album.
Yeah, awesome. All right, this next question is from Freddie, which again, Michael and I talked a little before I pressed record, and I didn't realize this too, so I missed this question. He said, ask him about Jason Becker, because I know he worked with him. Are you still working with him, right?
Yeah, I'm still working with Jason right now. We're actually, I don't want to discuss some of it, but we've got some really cool and interesting and exciting things that we're trying to get put together and launched for Jason. He wants to get his music out there. Let's put it that way. So I've been with Jason since last October of 2018, all through his album setup and album release and helping keep things active now and then building on some future plans for him. And, so much love and respect for Jason.
Love him. I was big into Cacophony before that, before Dave,
Yeah. Oh, no, again, I knew Jason Becker back from the Cacophony days, who didn't? And then I remember him being the new lead guitarist in David Lee Roth, which was like the hottest ticket in the world.
Right.
And then his life completely changed with ALS.
During the recording.
Yeah, during the recording. The album was recorded, but he couldn't tour. And, the rest is history. We talked about it, Ralph, but go out and find the documentary Not Dead Yet. It's on Amazon Prime. You've got to watch it.
It's amazing.
If you're a musician, if you're a fan of Jason, it is such an inspiring story.
Yes.
You have to go watch this.
I mean, a true musician that never gave up, even with his condition, he still writes music. You know, I've been over to. He lives here over in the Bay Area, so he lives over in the East Bay. So I've been over there to his house 2 or 3 times to have meetings and stuff like that. You know, his mind is sharp. His body just doesn't work anymore. Right.
But his mind is just creative and please everybody go listen to his new album Triumphant Hearts. You will be blown away by the variety of music that he composed.
And musicians, right?
And musicians. I mean, there's literally a who's who of guitar players on this, because obviously Jason can't play guitar anymore. So he releases a new album. How does he do it? He composed every note. He wrote every song, and then had other people sing the lyrics, other people play the guitar licks. Some of the tracks actually are leftover demos from the David Lee Roth era that didn't get released that he finished.
Wow.
And you'll listen to them and you'll go, holy crap, that sounds just like a David Lee Roth song. Because it was supposed to be.
I got it. I have yet to hear it. What's the name of it again?
Triumphant Hearts.
All right. I'm definitely going to pick that up. All right, Michael, this one is really cool, but it does ask a kind of, one of those questions you love. But the way he ends it, you're going to love. He says, ask him how long it took him to come up with that stupid slogan, forget the haters, we won. And then he says, and tell him he is the best villain in podcast history.
So is this the guy who gave me that?
Yes. This is the guy that gave, his name is Brian Paul. He is the guy that gave you. See, you didn't do it yourself. You're not self-proclaimed. It's somebody that said it. And I got to say, man, with the amount of hate I hear from you, I have to agree. You are a scumbag villain, man.
Brian, thank you very much for that, bestowing me that title. As somebody who grew up loving Bobby the Brain Heenan,
yeah,
I look at that as a compliment. I seriously do. So, what was the first part of his question?
He said, ask him how long it took him to come up with that stupid slogan, forget the haters, we won.
Forget the haters, we won. So, the backstory to that is actually Mark Cicchini came up with basically that. There was one of our recent episodes, we were talking about how, imagine you were a Kiss fan back in 1979. Could you have ever imagined that Kiss would still be here in 2019, selling out arenas, playing to 10, 15,000 people, touring the world? And we were like, no, none of us could have ever imagined that. Because in my case, in 79, I'm dealing with people who are like, Kiss sucks, man. I'd wear my Kiss t-shirt to school. Kiss sucks. Led Zeppelin rules, man. Deep Purple, those are real musicians. Kiss can't play. They suck. So, basically what Mark said is, look at this. It's 2019. Our band is still here. We won. We as in the Kiss fans, we as in the band Kiss, we won. Because all these other people who said they couldn't last, wouldn't last, will never tour, will never sell tickets, we're doing it. What was even funnier is, do you remember Classic Rock Magazine had their Kiss special last month, 2 months ago?
Yes.
And what did the cover say? We won.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not implying they stole it from us or anything. Not at all. It's just somebody else had that same thought of the Kiss Army is still here. The band is still here in 2019. Pushing 50 years later. Nobody would have thought that. And they've won. They won. What did they win? Nothing other than the fact that they're here. They did it. They did it their way. They didn't cave. They didn't collapse. They didn't break up and disintegrate. They didn't record one album and walk away. we are so freaking lucky to have a band that has released so much music over so many different styles, so many tours, so many members, that we can be this passionate about it.
I hear you. Well, have to buy one. Let's get honest here. All right, this next one is from my good buddy, Joseph Staub. And it's a nice question. It's not bad. I'd love to know what he thinks about the remastering of the Kiss 180 gram vinyls as compared to both the original versions and the 97 remasters.
All right, so this is a perfect question. I respect all the people who are so nuts over all this vinyl, audiophile, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It means shit to me.
Okay.
It means absolutely nothing to me. That other people can be so obsessed with vinyl and understanding all the variations and the differences and masters and sort. Great. That's what you love. That's awesome. I don't get it. It doesn't, I've got every album. I've got a few different versions of them. Like maybe if it's a dramatically different logo or a different cover, or I stumble across, I think I've got a copy of Destroyer from Korea because I just stumbled across. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Got Dynasty from Russia. But I'm not one of these people that has to have every version of every vinyl ever released. And like I don't have the Hysteria box set of vinyl. I'm not buying all of the vinyl that they've been releasing lately. It doesn't. I've got the Kiss album. I don't need the Kiss album on white vinyl. Why?
Well, you know what? Well, I don't do that either. I do that. Like I did that for the first Kiss album. I don't know. Sometimes I get sucked into it. But Joseph, I know you didn't ask me, but I'll expand on what you said, Michael. As you know, I am a vinyl junkie. You see me every day. This is what I'm currently cranking.
And Ralph, let me interrupt real quick. I love vinyl. I've got over 1,000 vinyl albums in my office. I love the vinyl experience. I just don't need to rebuy all the vinyl I've already got.
Right, I understand. But you know what? I also love CDs. And there are some CDs I think sound better than some of the vinyls, and vice versa. I did notice a difference in the Black Sabbath vinyl. There's a little sound I hear in Johnny Blade that I didn't hear in the original. Because when I buy a 180, I usually play the original, then I play the 180 to see if I tell a difference. And man, let me tell you, like 8 times out of 10, the 180 does sound better. But it's not because I need to own it. Well, yeah, I guess I do need to own it because I said on your show, I have Crazy Nights on 180 vinyl, still sealed, because I'm just a freak of a collector,
But, and here's as much as I love Crazy Nights or even Rock and Roll Over, I didn't go out and buy those on 180 vinyl. If I came across them at a record store and they were cheap, I might pick them up, but it's not something I had to have. If they did something different in the album release, like when Judas Priest re-released stuff, they did slightly different versions of the covers. They added other material to it. I actually bought the Judas Priest Turbo re-release.
Right. Well,
because it was different. It had a different cover, different colors, different songs on there. That I might get into. But when it's just the frickin' same album, same cover, same everything, it's just on better vinyl. It's like, I don't need that. And
right.
and I'm not criticizing anybody who feels they need that. So don't hate me for saying that. It just doesn't do it for me.
I hear you. Well, I know you're such a Crazy Nights fan. I will highly recommend you buy the 180 gram version, but keep it sealed. It sounds better that way. All right. Next question there, Michael. Keith Rockford says, what did he do when working with Dream Theater? And is James the reason Portnoy will never be back in the band?
All right, so the last part first. I have no idea. I don't get involved with bands. Yeah, I'm usually dealing with band managers, assistants. Very rarely do I ever deal with band members unless I meet them at a show.
So it's the manager's job to really know their business, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this goes back to something people would always ask me when I was working with Kiss. You hang out with Kiss all the time. Do you go over to their house? Do you go have dinner? I got nothing in common with Kiss. I'm a fan of Kiss, but we share nothing else personally in common. It's not like we go hang out and we'll talk about the latest episode of Seinfeld or something. That doesn't happen. Saying that, Gene and Paul are probably the only band I've ever worked with where the primary members were directly involved with everything.
So you never got to see that. Never been to Gene's house where he has all that memorabilia?
I've been to Gene's house and I've been to Paul's house, but it was because I had to go there for some business purpose, not just to go hang out because, hey, Mike, let's go hang out. Well, what the fuck would we hang out for?
But when you went to Gene's house, did you go in his office where all that Kiss stuff is at?
Yes.
Nice. Did you stick around enough to take a look around, or was it all right? I better get out of here.
I took a look around a little bit. Also, living room and his kitchen and stuff like that. I mean, part of my challenge when I was working with Kiss was I needed to turn the fan part of me off.
Right.
They hired me. Okay, let me back that up. Kiss didn't hire me. I was never an employee of Kiss. I worked for their merchandising company.
Ah, okay.
So I was an employee of the merchandising company. Kiss was one of the clients. But I was never an employee of Kiss. I was never paid by Kiss. So I want to make sure that's clear for everybody out there who wants to think I worked for Kiss. No, they were just a client. I had other clients. I worked with Britney Spears,
really?
Madonna,
wow,
Aaron Carter, Fleetwood Mac, Ozzy. So they were all clients that I did something in some form or another with. But I worked for the merchandising company.
Interesting.
So I went to Gene and Paul's house for business reasons. And, I had to turn off being a fan because I was there for business. They don't want, and when I say they, this is just about every musician out there. They don't want a crazy nut ass fan hanging around their house, poking them with all a million questions, and will you autograph this, and will you sign this, and can I take this picture? In the years I worked with Kiss, I didn't ask them for autographs. I didn't ask them for anything. The only time I asked for something was once on the farewell tour when they came to Sacramento. I called up Tommy Thayer and I said, Tommy, I'm going to come out to the Sacramento show, but I'm not going to work. I would like to get tickets so I can actually see a Kiss concert. You got to remember, from the Psycho Circus tour through the Rock the Nation, when I was with them, when I was at these shows, I wasn't watching a concert. I was running around taking photos. I was watching things through a viewfinder. So I said, I want to go to a Kiss show, and I want to see the show, and I want to be a fan. Can you give me front row tickets for the Sacramento show? He said, sure, no problem. I went to that show. Didn't work. I was a Kiss fan for that night. Yeah, I got to go backstage and see stuff. And, Ace was kind of a little freaked out seeing me in the front row, fists in the air, screaming and jumping and yelling, because he's used to seeing me in the photo pit, reserved and quiet and not getting in the way and taking photos. So that was the only moment I showed being a fan. Now, they obviously knew I was a fan. I mean, they knew all about Kiss Otaku. They knew all of that stuff. But I felt it wasn't appropriate for me and this is not just Kiss, it's Dream Theater, it's anybody else, not to go fan mode, not to go fanboy on clients I work with.
All right, I got you. This next question is a guy I love. His name is Mike Sears. He's a great guy. He says, what's your thoughts on Kiss Destroyer's Resurrected?
I think it was very cool. I actually went out and bought that because it was significantly different in the cover, in the sound, in the recording. I thought it's a great piece of history to show what could have happened. Do I listen to it over and over? I probably haven't listened to it once after I first got it and listened to it.
So you go back to the original Destroyer instead of Resurrected.
Oh yeah, I listen to the original Destroyer when I want to listen to Destroyer.
Right. I'm a more bigger fan of Resurrected, but the question wasn't for me. All right, here's one from I know you know this person. It's Tim Bream, the king of the memes. He says, since you and him are buddies now, I'll play nice with him. I want to stop right there before I ask the questions. No, do not play nice with Michael just because he's my friend. It's not going to offend me if you call him a douchebag. He loves that shit. He loves it. So, take everybody out there. Just because I'm friends with this guy, attack him all you want. I don't give a fuck. All right, here he goes. He says, tell him to unban or unblock me from 3 sides. And the question would be, why does he consistently ban people that don't share his opinion on current Kiss? In my case, all I did was say, happy birthday, fake Fraley, or something to that extent. Granted, he dangled the carrot saying if anybody said anything negative, they'd be banned. Don't threaten me with a good time. There you go.
So I'm a bit confused here. The post actually said, if you do this, you're going to get banned. He did it and got banned and wants to know why.
Yeah. So clarify what he did.
Tim, I can't help you there. That's a problem you got to deal with.
So if I join the 3 sides, I can't go in there and say fake Fraley and cheater curse.
We want people to be respectful.
Okay.
That's it.
Gotcha.
And listen, everybody on Facebook, the different pages, groups, your YouTube, everybody has their own rules that they play by. And that's 100% fine. We got our own rules. We don't want people coming in and being disrespectful. Do people get banned because they simply have a different opinion than me? Absolutely not. They've done something else. They've attacked another fan for that different opinion. They've attacked me. They've disrespected the band. You come in and call Gene and Paul a couple greedy Jews, you're gone. I don't care. You're gone. We don't put up with that. If you don't like it, there's not much you can do about it, because guess what? News for everybody. There's no such thing as freedom of speech on Facebook or anywhere on the internet.
Yeah, my rule is just don't fuck with my members. That's all I ask. If you do, you're gone.
But to your point, to exactly what you said, you've got your own rules. Your rules might be less restrictive than ours, but there's always rules somewhere where somebody's going to sit here and say, you crossed a line and you're gone.
Oh, yeah. So my group, you can praise the Scabs all you want, but that's me and you're you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we get that question. I get that question a lot. You just ban people because they have a different opinion. That's not true, because there's actually a lot of people on there who don't like the current Kiss. They have a way of communicating that and being respectful.
Shit, you even said you're not a big fan of the last 2 albums. I mean,
I'm not. Do we ban people who don't like Monster and Sonic Boom? Not at all. We ban people who criticize somebody else who does like it.
Yeah, you see that I'll ban. If you start fucking with somebody because of their musical opinion, you're gone. Come on, just be respectful to the members is all I ask. But all right, so there you go, Tim. You answered your own question. Mike Rowan says, ask him his justification for bashing both Vinny and Ace, but doing a 180 with both and acting like he never did when having the chance to interview both within the past couple years, I think we all know the answer, that it was all an act.
Well, so first of all, we are bashing more than anything. Okay, I'll say I'm not a big fan of Vinny outside of Kiss.
Neither
his solo
am I.
albums, I have zero interest in his solo albums. They did nothing for me. I don't like it one bit. I liked what he did in Kiss, but that's because he was restrained and controlled in Kiss. I've always said Vinny is a phenomenal songwriter. Did Vinny save Kiss and all this other? Please, Vinny was a blip in the radar on Kiss's history here. It just doesn't register.
But that's your opinion.
That's my opinion. And there's so many people out there who have worked with Vinny who all end up with the same opinion of what the guy is like. Okay? So we are only, again, speaking our opinions. Now, when it came to Vinny and the Atlanta Expo, Derek, the promoter, reached out to us and said, Mike, we want you guys, Three Sides of the Coin, to be here. We want you to come in. What am I going to say? No.
Right.
When the promoter of Spooky Empire, big fan of Three Sides of the Coin, said, Mike, we want you to come down to Spooky Empire, and we want you guys to do the Q&A for Vinny, we're like, okay. In both cases, we up front told both promoters, make sure Vinny understands that this is happening. Make sure, because there could be some bad blood here. And if he doesn't want it to happen, I totally get that, and then you don't have us coming in. They both checked. Vinny was fine in both instances to have us come in and do it. Okay. Well, again, for the growth of the show and the exposure of the show, what am I going to say? I'm saying but what are all of us going to say? No, we don't want to go to Orlando, Florida, and hang out at Spooky Empire for the weekend. Sorry. It's stupid to think that. We've always told our opinions on Vinny. We have Bobby Rock come on, and then Vinny disowns us because we have Bobby Rock on. Okay, please.
Yeah, and you guys told me that he didn't even say nothing bad about Vinny.
No. As for Ace, and what I was leading off to say was, we say things to piss off the fans. Ace Frehley, blue Kool-Aid drinkers, and Vinnie Vincent, pink Kool-Aid drinkers, are the craziest lot out there. And they are so crazy devoted. Both those musicians need to be thankful they've got such great fans that are devoted to them. But it's so easy to push the button to get them riled up. I've always loved Ace. I've always been an Ace Frehley fan. I've seen Ace in concert solo going all the way back to the very first Frehley's Comet Tour in 1987. Ace knows about all of what we do. His team, his managers know all about it. They don't have a problem. They get it. They all understand it. They all laugh and they all smile at it. I go backstage to meet Ace recently. He's happy as can be. Hey, Mike, good to see you again. It's been a long time. And, takes pictures and signs a bunch of stuff. I have him sign a photo for me to the Tool, Ace Frehley. So we don't hate them. This isn't being a hypocrite. We've always said we can love these guys, but we don't have to love everything they do.
Right.
So, in the case of Ace, I think a lot of Ace fans think we disrespect him when I come on and say, I don't like Ace's lead vocals. I can't stand listening to Ace Frehley sing lead on all of his solo albums. His guitar playing is phenomenal, but his vocals, that doesn't work for me. That's a musical taste.
Oh, fuck you.
It's simply a musical taste. I didn't like his vocals. Is that disrespecting him? No. actually, that's being respectful and having an opinion. And I'll clue you in, people out there. A lot of musicians, not just in the Kiss world, don't want to hear only good shit. They want to hear respectful opinions. Because let's be honest, we've said things about Gene and Paul on our show that could be taken as not the nicest things. I've said Paul's voice is gone more than one occasion.
Nah, there you're being honest.
We've had issues with Gene opening his mouth up and making comments about people suffering depression and stuff like that. If they hated us, would they do something? They don't care. We're being respectful about it. We're not sitting here saying, guess what? I love every single thing Ace Frehley does. Really? Do you love every single album, every single song, There hasn't been anything in Ace Frehley's career where you've gone, that didn't really work for me. Because if you say you love everything, you're lying.
Yeah, I hated two sides of the coin.
There you go.
I'm not a fan of Anomaly either. But I've done my review and I've said it. Yeah, I've had people like come down on me too, but nowhere near as bad as you. But yeah, people do get upset with my opinion.
We are doing things to rile up the fans, so the fans talk about us in all their little groups, so the fans leave comments. Why do you think we did an episode where the title was Ace Frehley's a sloppy guitar player? Because we knew instantly every Ace Frehley Blue Kool-Aid drinker was going to go ballistic on that without ever listening to the context of the episode, where Ace Frehley himself in an interview said he's a sloppy guitar player. But because we said it, we hate Ace.
Right. Yeah, and also that Blue Kool-Aid thing, pisses people off as well. But, let's be honest, you guys drink Kool-Aid too.
Ralph, did you catch it when we actually had Ace autographed Blue Kool-Aid packets and we gave them away in a contest?
Yeah, I missed that episode, but you did mention it on the episode I was on.
That was brilliant. Ace laughed. Tommy Summers had him autograph them, and Ace is like, what is this, Blue Kool-Aid?
By the way, I never got my Michael Brandvold autographed Blue Kool-Aid. I'm still waiting. Maybe it'll help if I gave you my address.
That will help.
All right. Next is not even a question. Oh, no, wait, actually, there's one. Oh, no, that is the question. This one's not a question. It's from Chris Santos. He just says, I can't stand him. And somebody called Steve replying to him going, yeah, the same. So there you go, man. There's people out there that can't stand you, Michael.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
That's the answer. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm thanking you from my heart. Thank you for not liking me.
All right. This next one's my favorite question, by the way. It's from Steve Bell. He says, my question is, when will Dr. Fuck replace you on Three Sides?
Well, I'm sorry, people. That goes along with the question we get. Brandvold, when are you leaving the show? It'd be so much better without you. Sorry, people, that's not happening. Because, honestly, I own the trademark to Three Sides of the Coin.
So I'm not replacing you?
No.
You're not. You're a fucking villain. Fuck you. All right. This next one is from Walter. I can't pronounce the last name. Sorry, Walter. Ask them where they have a good deal on lather. I like that one.
Lather?
Yeah, lather.
I don't know. Check Walgreens.
Is that where you get yours? Walgreens? All right. This one is a little perplexed to me, but I think I kind of know. I even asked what the hell that question meant. This guy, Chris, said, when's the wedding? And then I said, what wedding? And he never answered me. But then I was thinking, maybe it's because me and Michael are friends now. They're asking us when we're going to get married. So, Michael, will you marry me?
Sure. We can have gay weddings out here in San Francisco.
All right, cool. The answer is yes. I mean, the answer is whenever the fuck I go to San Francisco. All right. Steve said he's not interested to ask you anything.
Thanks, Steve.
David said, ask him what type of headlamp he has to use in order to see what with his head stuck so far up his ass.
Up my own ass? Well,
yeah,
that's different.
Are you that flexible? Are you that flexible?
No, I'm not. And like I said, usually my head is stuck up Gene and Paul's ass.
What type of headlamp you use for Gene and Paul's ass?
None.
Right. All right, and to show you, Michael, how this next guy's a trip. His name is Christopher Powell, and I hope you're listening, Christopher. Christopher is our resident troll. He loves bashing everything old Kiss and defends Kiss now. He's like the biggest Paul fan. He's like the Michael Brandvold of the group, which, by the way, I'll never let you join because one's enough. And this guy, he goes, how about a 100% non-Kiss related show? We get enough Kiss talk. Let's hear you discuss other bands you like. I guess that's to you. What other bands do you like?
Well, again, this is our standard answer. If you actually listen to Three Sides of the Coin, you know we've done that. We did a whole show about Cheap Trick. We've done a whole show about Motley Crue.
I heard the Motley Crue one, not the Cheap Trick. I got to hear that.
And we've talked about maybe it's time to do a whole show on Alice Cooper.
Oh, yeah. Have me for that one. I love Alice.
I'll put you down. So yeah, and listen, we've done it. Just listen.
Speaking of Alice, I guess we'll talk about it. Alice is very similar to Kiss as far as chasing trends. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next question is from Samuel. He says, I have one who made him decide to go into podcasting. I don't know exactly what that means. Do you?
What made me go into podcasting?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. What made you go
I first started back in 2011 my Music Biz Weekly podcast as a way to promote my business. I'm still doing that every week. And it was a year later that I was in Minnesota visiting family and got together with Tommy, because Tommy and I have known each other for many years prior to this. And we were just hanging around talking in a bar, and Tommy's like, man, I want to do a Kiss podcast. And honestly, my first reaction was, I have no interest in talking about Kiss. I have no desire to talk about it. And we kept talking. He's like, man, I really want to do this. Think about it. I said, well, if we do this, we've got to make sure we talk about fans. I'm not interested in doing a show that reviews the Unmasked album or reviews the Love Gun album. Like, who gives a crap about what we think? Kiss fans have been a crucial part of Kiss's history since day one. And having spent years working with Kiss and Kiss fans online, I've seen a lot of the craziness. I go, so we got to we have to be honest in talking about Kiss fans. He's like, let's do it. I'm like, okay, let me think about it. And I got back to him and I said, okay, I think we can do this. Let's do a 3-person show. We'll call it Three Sides of the Coin. He's like, do you know somebody? And I had been doing another podcast called Dropping the Needle with Mitch LaFon. I said, Mitch is a big Kiss fan. Maybe he'd be interested. He was interested. So, basically, Tommy and I were the Gene and Paul, and Mitch was the Ace Frehley who came in and auditioned, and he got the gig. And there was the birth of Three Sides of the Coin. And we had no expectations of what was going to happen with Three Sides of the Coin. None whatsoever. We recorded it. Hey, if 100 people listen to it, fine. Doesn't matter. We're just talking about what we like. And it freaking exploded. It somehow connected with fans in a way that fans have been looking for. We hear from fans all the time. It's like, I don't have best friends who are Kiss fans. I don't have somebody to talk to. So you guys are like my best friends. Every week, I get to listen to you, and I get to yell at you and applaud you and scream at you and all, stuff that they can't do in real life. So it's amazing what's happened, but we've never set out to achieve anything with it.
Right on. All right, we're winding down, Michael. We got only 4 more to go.
How about 2? Because I got to run real soon here.
All right, let me see.
Pick the juicy.
All right, this one's kind of juicy. Honestly, why does he get offended when anyone on the message board challenges his opinion? I stopped listening to Three Sides because I saw how he treats his listeners. You rock, Ralph Viera. Thanks, Jeremy. Jeremy's a cool guy. He just said I rocked.
So we get that a lot. It's like we disrespect our listeners. No, we disrespect the people who hate us. The people who love us, we give them all the love and respect in the world. The people who hate us, thank you very much, but if you're going to walk in and call me an asshole and you've got a problem with me calling you an asshole back, is that my problem or your problem?
I get it.
There's a lot of people who can dish it out but can't take it.
Right, yeah. And I did talk to you about this, and, there's 3 sides to every story. People say, oh, you ban them for no reason, and you tell me, well, no, I ban them because they call me, names, so...
Well, like our good buddy Tim Breen. Mike made a post that said, don't say this, so I said it, and I got banned. Why'd you do that? Because I told you it was going to happen.
And this is great, Michael, because the other 2 questions, you already answered one of them. So this is the last question. The other question was, what do you think of Paul's current voice? You already talked about that. So this is the final question. You know what,
Ralph? To be clear, though, because a lot of people who listen to you may not have listened to our shows, Paul's voice, I've said, going all the way back to the Sonic Boom tour, his voice was gone. And I stopped going to Kiss tours for a number of years because of that. And I told people on the show I'm not going because of that. If you want to go, God bless you, go. Have a great time. I'm not going to stop you, but I'm just not doing it on my own. And so I've always acknowledged his voice is gone. It's not like it was. But 2 years ago this week, our episode was entitled, We Don't Care About Paul Stanley's Vocals. And that's
I've heard about that, yes.
That's the truth of the matter. Is like, why should I get all worked up? I mean, honestly, maybe it's something that comes with age, but at my age now, I don't worry about shit that doesn't impact my life. So Paul Stanley's vocals have literally zero impact on my life, on all of our lives for that matter. Nothing in our life is going to change because of his vocals. So I'm not going to waste any of my time, my precious, valuable personal time, worrying about his vocals when there's more important things in my life to worry about. Wife, daughter, family, job, all that other stuff.
Dr. Falk getting you numbers on 3 sides, stuff like that.
Yeah, making sure I can get Ralph to come in and save the show. So that's all it comes down to. I'm a Kiss fan, and yes, it's sad that this is what his vocals have done. But guess what? How old is he? He's fucking destroyed his entire body for Kiss fans. He's had hips replaced and knees replaced and shoulders replaced, and the guy's given his body to us. So at this point, I'm just like, dude, go out, have a good time. This is your band. It has no bearing on me. I love it. I thank you for everything you've done. Ride off into the sunset and be happy.
I got a favor to ask you.
Sure.
If because you said you have to go. And there's just 3 questions left. If you can answer them real quick so you can leave soon. All right. Billy Joe Jimbo says, what does he identify as? Quick answer.
A tool.
All right. There you go. Next question. Scott West asks, ask him why you can't take a joke. Make it brief. One more question after that.
Why I can't take a joke?
Yeah. Why can't you take a joke, Michael?
I can take a joke. The problem is most trolls can't.
Ooh, there you go.
When they come in and try and troll us, and then we stand up to them, they don't know what to do.
Awesome. All right, I got that. All right, last question. Thank you for being brief. Logan said, ask him like a serious musical question, like what walking bass line plus singing combo is Gene's most impressive, or how Kiss' current lineup recording production is either better or worse, I think it's bland, than the classic lineup. And a lot of these shows get super angsty and personal about the members, and a lot of cool technical musical insight is just wasted.
Honest opinion, that whole question went right over, honest answer, that whole question went right over my head. I'm not a musician. I've never played an instrument in my life. I've never written a song. I have no freaking clue what all that stuff is. It means nothing to me. All I care about is, do I like the song when I turn it up, and do I have a good time in the concert? Maybe I'm a typical casual fan in that sense, but I don't pay attention to bass lines and, other than the production being absolutely shitty, for the most part, I don't care. I don't know. I don't understand it. I've never gone to school for that. It's not my job to worry about that. That's the job of the musician and the producers to deal with all that. As a marketing person, my job is to take amazing music and figure out how to get it out there and heard.
Right on. Oh, well, I think that's it, man. Thank you so much for your time.
This was a blast.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was a blast for you. I'm petrified of you. I'm here fucking shaking in my fucking Ace Frehley boots.
Listen,
you scare me.
If you need me to come back and save your show again, I think I'm going.
Yeah. I'll return the favor.
and let's end it with this, Ralph.
Yeah.
Did you know that $500 will get your head blown off?
You betcha, ha. Danny Joe Brown forever, bro. Bounty Hunter, baby.
One of the greatest lyrics ever.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. Do yourself a favor. Listen to, if you don't know the song, God damn it, Bad Man from Leonard Skinner off of Give Me Back My Bullets. It's the same. They kind of borrowed a lot from that song.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Ballad of the Bad Man. You hear that? It's Bounty Hunter before Bounty Hunter.
Awesome.
Well, I can't thank you enough, dude. I look forward to saving your show again. And and thank you for bringing me a lot of haters to listen to your...
I think after you being on our show and me being on your show, there's a lot of trolls out there that don't know what to do with their lives anymore.
Yeah, some people are confused.
They're very confused.
And the only one I heard that really stopped listening to me, there was I don't know if you caught this comment. Somebody left a comment going, now that Michael Brandvold is leaving comments, I'm out of here.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, bye.
Okay.
I do whatever the fuck I want. I'll say this now. I like Michael. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. To me, he's a good guy. That's the way I live my life. If you treat me good, I treat you good. I don't give a fuck.
It's all about having fun, isn't it, Ralph? I mean,
yeah, you can jab me all you want. I get it.
When am I going to get a sense of humor? Come on, this whole show was a huge laugh.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I also want to let the listeners know that it was Michael that came up with the idea. Have them ask me questions.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to hear this, good and bad. I think you like the bad ones more, though.
Well, the bad ones, you never know what the bad ones are going to be. And then it's always like, really, that's your question?
Yeah. And privately, everybody, I'll find out what type of headlamp he uses. Well, Mike, I know you got to go, and I want to thank you for your time. You've stayed way longer than you said you had time for me for, and I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Ralph. This was a blast.
All right, man. And I will be on 3 Side soon, hopefully.
You will. I promise everybody. You will be back.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael.
Bye.
Thank you for your time. Later. So there you go. The interview with the best villain in podcasting, Michael Brandvold. Again, thank you, Michael. And just to let you all know, tonight I'm recording another Viera Vault, and it should be up next week. With the great Robert Lawson. We'll be talking about the Nazareth discography. But it's time, and I haven't been in there in a long time. Come on, join me. Let's go into the vault. Holy fuck, it smells like ass in here. All right, so this week I want to play you something from a brand new band, and they're all buddies of mine, and I love it. It's total traditional metal. If you listen to the intro of the Viera Vault, that is Paolo, one of my favorite singers of all time. He just happens to be one of my friends, but he's been in a tribute band called Made of Metal, and I've always told him, dude, you need to do something original with that voice, some original music. So he got together with my drummer, Brutal Brian, and my friend Celtic Hammer and Cam, who used to be in my short-lived band Ripjaw. And they formed a band called Midnight Spell, and it's awesome. You can find their stuff on Bandcamp. You can buy the CD. You can for very cheap, or you can download the songs for extremely cheap. So type up Midnight Spell Bandcamp and check out their songs. You can listen to it. So this is the title track of their little EP that they put out. Awesome stuff. Check it out. This one's called Between the Eyes. Oh, fuck yeah, that was awesome. Midnight Spell, Between the Eyes. check out their Bandcamp, guys, and listen to all their songs. I mean, if you like what you just heard, you'll love the rest, and you should support metal and buy it. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening to Viera Vault. I don't have any reviews, so leave me iTunes reviews, and I'll read it here on the future episodes. And I'm glad to be back, and I know I've been threatening to come back so many times over, but I have more time now. Let me just put it that way. Not to get too personal, but let's say, I have all the time in the world to do these episodes now. And next week, Robert Lawson, we talk about the whole Nazareth discography. So thank you for listening, and hopefully next week I'll have your reviews to talk about. Take care, everybody. Schmack 'em a gob. Bye.